darkness, I found my light. With Jesus by my side, I conquer every fight. Walking in faith, I won't be afraid. His love surrounds me, my fears will fade. Hope is my anchor, love is my guide. With Jesus I'll overcome, I'll never hide. A warrior of strength, in His name I rise. In a world of chaos, His love never dies.
She's an award-winning author, speaker, owner of GodlyGranny.com, and podcast host, sharing the truth with you. This is The Michelle Moore Show.
Hi, everyone. So glad that you're with us today. I just want to say a special shout out to those that are on YouTube. I see y'all commenting, and I'm so glad that you're with us today. And of course, the Michelle family live on the live chat on Rumble. We got to say thank you so much for being here every day. We got so many people that show up every day. You guys are just amazing. It's such a great family, and I love seeing you guys praying for each other and rooting each other on. There's so many that don't have family members that they can talk with, and just, you know, it's just so good though that here it's a safe place to be able to do that and interact and have that just camaraderie in that family. So I just want to say thank you for what each of you offer to the Michelle family and just helping each other. It just really, really blesses me and producer Ron. I know he and I have talked about it numerous times. All right. Well, we have Lieutenant Mark Taylor with us today. I do want to give you a heads up about tomorrow. So Jay will be back next Tuesday. He has agreed to reschedule with us because something has come up. So we have had a gentleman who has spoken with us, and his name is Ryan Teaford. Don't know if you're familiar with him yet, but he is the ex-nephew to Paula White. And so he will be here tomorrow. We will be the first interview that he does. And so Paula White's been married 3 times. And the second marriage was to Randy White. And Randy White has a sister, and that sister is Ryan's mother. And so Ryan is going to be here tomorrow, and he's going to be sharing a number of things that he says it's time that these things come out, and that he talks about what's really been going on all these years. And so he's coming, and we're going to give Ryan an opportunity to share his story and what he knows and what he thinks is important. And he's going to talk about why now. And so we're going to start with that tomorrow. I'm already planning to do that. So you'll want to tune in tomorrow. All right. Now we're going to go on ahead and bring Lieutenant Mark Taylor in. It's Monday. It's Monday with Mark and Michelle. And so I'm happy that he's here with us. Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Oh, yes. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so we're going to get started with what so many people are talking about, and that is the drama over the weekend between the Pope and President Donald Trump. And so there was all different kinds of stuff going on there. But what really kind of took its own, grew its own legs and took off is this picture that was truthed out by Donald Trump. You can see, Thank you, producer Ron. And so you can see, and there's all different kinds of stuff. Now, this is the one that was truthed out, but there's been some changes. So we're going to cover a lot of different angles to all of this. So the first thing is there isn't an artist that actually posted this, and I say he posted it, but it's been altered. So he posted something near to this back in February. And so producer Ron, will you show the side by side? Yeah, go back and let's look at that other one first, honey. Okay, so his name is Nick, and he says, America has been sick for a long time. President Trump is healing this nation. Do you notice the military man we'll do the side by side so that way everybody can see it for themselves. So you see the difference, see what's circled in red. So it looks like, I don't know, Mark. What do you think? So does this military man in the middle have horns, or what is going on?
It looks like 3 horns and wings. I mean, it looks like a demonic entity. I'm just going to be honest. All right. Look, I want to keep this in balance because there's a lot of people that are throwing all kinds of theories out here, this, that, and the other. And we're going to play something here in a minute that the president actually responded to something like this. And he also removed the post because the post, most people were taking it too far. I think he saw that and a mistake was made and he removed the post. Well, credit to him for removing the post. But the point is that it's showing him as like a type of healer, if you will, like the guy Nick was talking about up there. So, yep, thank you, Nick Adams. And so, is this blasphemy to the Lord? Well, I don't feel sorry for the president because he's known for throwing stuff out here like this. Could it be a message to somebody? I don't know. There's so many theories out there, but this comes on the heels of one Paula White, who we all know is no good to be around the president. She's a Jezebel. She's demonic, has no business being around her, who just compared him. Didn't compare him, but we tried to keep that one in balance as well. She was comparing what he'd been through as Jesus had gone through. So this comes on the heels of that controversy. So I really don't feel sorry for the president for tweeting this out because, again, this has created a firestorm. And the other thing I would like to point out is what I've been talking about. He removed the post. Why did he remove the post? Because the people finally acted. Now, I will say that. If this is what I've been saying for a long time. This is why Trump hasn't done a whole lot, because the American people haven't risen up and gotten up on their hind legs and started fighting. Well, they did over this one, and he removed the post. That's my point to that part of this. Now, what does all of this mean? I don't really know, to be honest with you. It's portraying him as healing the nation. He even said, as we're going to hear in a minute, that he has done a lot of that healing for the nation. Has he? I mean, we're going to talk about this as we go along here, guys. I mean, there's a lot of damage that's been done to this nation as well in the process of supposedly trying to heal the nation. So,
all right. Well, let's see what President Trump had to say. And this was just about an hour and a half ago.
Hormones straight and various other things. Do you have any questions?
Mr. President, did you post that picture of yourself depicted as Jesus Christ?
Well, it wasn't depicted. It was me. I did post it, and I thought it was me as a doctor, and had to do with Red Cross as a Red Cross worker there, which we support. And only the fake news could come up with that one. So I just heard about it, and I said, how did they come up with that? It's supposed to be me as a doctor making people better, and I do make people better. I make people a lot better.
Okay,
right, what do you say?
So I got a couple of things wrong with that particular statement. Now, again, I got to take him at his word. He looked at him; he's portraying himself as a doctor. So let's take him for his word for a minute. Let's just say that was the case. He made a mistake by putting it out, and because it came on the heels of what happened with Paula White, again, we're trying to keep things in balance here. It looked like he was portraying himself as Christ. That was the perception that was given. But again, I don't feel sorry for the president because we play too many games and with these psyops, and this is what the end result is. So, but with that, I mean, look, when you have something like this and you're putting this stuff out there, you cannot expect to have blowback, especially on the heels of what Paula White just did. It's just not going to happen. But he portrays himself as a doctor and bringing healing. That's where I've got the problem, because he's not bringing healing to the nation when he has an opportunity to. He is making people sick through the vaccines, as we're going to tell here in a minute, as we're going to show throughout this entire show, through the 5G. Has he stopped the 5G? No, he was the catalyst behind 5G. Now we're fixed to go to 6G. He's making people sick. The vaccines, the cancer rates are through the roof. We're fixing to show something here in a minute about the pregnancy rates. All these different things that are going on, the chemtrails, the food, the water that we eat are all poison. Where is the proof that he's actually bringing healing to the nation? Again, I want to support the president, but it's getting harder and harder to defend this man when he's making these kinds of mistakes, if you will, which I got blasted for by someone on True Social earlier. Saying I've turned on him. I'm not turned on him. I'm praying for the guy. I'm telling people to pray for him. So it's like, what do you do here with this stuff? And it's getting harder and harder to defend this man when he's making Americans sicker by the day and the entire global population. And then when you say something like, hey, I'm a doctor and I'm bringing healing, people are going to say, no, forget it. Time out. We got a problem here.
All right. It's hard to kind of defend it just because he said this and he removed it. But to me, I responded on X about this and or X'd it out or whatever. And what I said was, first of all, he's not portraying himself in my eyes as Jesus. Jesus never dressed like that. Yes, Jesus was in a red robe, but Jesus never dressed like that. He looks more like the Pope. And so I thought immediately that it was a jab at the Pope. The second thing is, until he said what he did at the White House, I was saying, well, I mean, all he's doing is laying hands on somebody that is sick and in the bed, and he's praying for them. Well, we're all, as believers,
we're all commanded to do that.
Called to do that.
Yeah.
And so to me, it's like, oh, people are making a big nothing about, and probably a jab at the Pope is what I figured, which kind of made me laugh. So, that's where I'm at. I just don't see the big deal about it. I think anything he does, and quite frankly, we said this last week about Paula White, that Paula does plenty to get Paula in trouble and does plenty that makes her look terrible. So
Paula does plenty to get others in trouble as well.
Yes, good point. And so we don't need, though, for anybody to make stuff when there's no there, if that makes sense. And so anyways, but that's where I was. And really, I felt like this kind of almost didn't really help much. But anyways.
The healing part I have a problem with, and that demonic entity that was changed from a soldier to a demonic entity. That's what I have a problem with. That's the part I don't know about.
Yeah, why was it changed? Who
changed it?
Yeah, and how did he get it? So producer Ron went back, and this artist has also done some other images as well. And so producer Ron, if you would please, let's look at a couple of them. So he says Donald Trump is the spiritual father of our country. Now, this is Nick Adams' opinion. I haven't seen anybody say that before. It says we would be lost without his strong moral and biblical leadership.
Oh, my word.
All right, what's the next one? This is the same artist, and it says President Trump is healing this nation and its people on a biblical scale, I think is what that says.
Yep.
There's something in the way, so I can't read it. And it says the devil hates this. And so
I would love for this to be true. I would love for this to be true. Honestly, even the pictures themselves, I would love to see the president lay hands on somebody and heal somebody. Quite honestly, you know what I mean? But that's just praying for him, whatever the case is. But right now, this is just not the truth. Right now, he's not bringing healing to this nation because we share too many facts on this show of what's going on behind the scenes in this administration. We show what's the facts on the show, what's really going on the street. It's not happening.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So Spectrum Insurance 1378 on YouTube says, I think this is a smoke screen of something. Look here. Don't look there.
Yeah. I don't know.
All right. Let's look at the baby report here. Let's look at this. And so U.S. fertility rate has been collapsing to the lowest, they say, ever recorded. The lowest level. So vital statistics, rapid release. And so you see the graph. Let's show the second one, producer Ron, where it's zoomed in. Look at this. And of course, they're showing you the red line is where the mass, shots campaign began. And you see how it's gone down. And so, not good.
Go back to the other one real quick, producer Ron. There we go. Thank you. Since 2021, 80% of Americans were injected with a sterilization agent masquerading as a vaccine. So, I mean, look, again, you can't sit here and say he's bringing healing to the nation or to the globe right now when you've got this going on. This is just in America, by the way, Michelle. This is not globally. This is just in America right now. What is happening in the other countries where the forced vaccinations were going on way longer than in America? I mean, it's staggering to figure out what's really going on all over the earth right now.
Yeah, this is hard. And so that's a tough one. And of course, the baby rates are down, and so not good.
Well, and the Muslims know this. And as we're going to see in a minute, the Indians know this. Every other culture knows this, which is why we're being invaded. And they know that this is the perfect time to come in and take over America.
Yeah. Okay, so let's look at a couple of more things that we've got regarding all of this. So President Trump did announce that he promises to mass pardons for his staff before leaving office. This is pretty normal, just maybe a little early, but it's normal. Nothing Obama or Biden hadn't done.
Yeah, this is pretty early, though. I mean, I don't know if he figures that if a Democrat gets in that he knows that they're going to probably arrest most of them. I don't know that unless doing something right now he knows about and can't do anything about it. I don't know. But to me, this is way early in the game.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So just for everybody to know, we wanted to cover that. And then Senator Lindsey Graham gets an endorsement from President Donald J. Trump. So he says Senator Lindsey Graham is doing a fantastic job. He is running against a lunatic named Mark Lynch, who supports perhaps the worst congressman in the history of our country, Thomas Massey of the great Commonwealth of Kentucky. I don't have to go into great detail, but needless to say, Mark Lynch would be a disaster for the Republican Party, and Lindsey Graham just gets the job done. Vote for Lindsey all the way, MAGA. And it says President Donald J. Trump.
I'm going to go back into this spiel again where whoever the president endorses right now at this point, do the opposite is what I'm doing right now at this point, because he's trying to New York, South Carolina, just like in New York, Texas with Ayatollah Abbott, and now he's trying to New York, Florida with Byron Donalds, a criminal. So literally, I don't know what's going on with the president when it comes to this. We know he's not good. This is not the same president that was on his show where he endorsed people or got people on there, The Apprentice. This is not the same president, because if it was, none of these people would be in office right now. He wouldn't be choosing some of these people. Why is he endorsing Lindsey Graham? What is this, like the second or third time?
Yeah. But the thing about the thing about Lindsey Graham, first of all, what do we not know about Mark Lynch? He's saying he's a lunatic. Mark Lynch is aligned with Flynn. So what have you got left? You can't go aligning yourself, or he's not going to say you need to vote with somebody that's going to align themselves with Flynn.
I would say, why aren't we going out here and actively recruiting people here to get on board for running? Look, I've been actively recruiting from day one when God said, hey, I need my people to run for leadership. Yep. I've been saying this from day one. Why is he not doing this? If this is the case, you can't tell me there's not someone better that would stand up for South Carolina and run against Lindsey Graham. I think people have given up hope of that because they know that he's going to go for somebody like Lindsey Graham, because Lindsey Graham's probably controlled. We all know that. And so this is the problem. So you can't sit here and say, well, I'm going to bring healing to the country or this, that, and the other, because Trump's not going to do it with this. He's not going to do it through Byron Donalds. Well, he's exposing Byron Donalds. Really? So you're going to take the chance of this man actually getting into governor and destroying an entire state because he wants to expose somebody versus coming out with the actual evidence and let's just prosecute the joker and let's be done with it. That's where I have an issue with these endorsements like this, is because he's destroying an entire state. And two of the reddest states in the country are Texas and Florida. And now he's fixing to do the same thing, New York, South Carolina.
Okay, talking about Byron Donalds. So for those that don't know, Byron Donalds he's running. He's a man that has a really checkered past, to say the least. We covered a lot of it last week.
Yep.
And so here we got another thing, but he's running for governor of Florida. Let's take a look here. So they keep saying he's been doing insider trading. And I say, gosh, there's so much of this that is pointing toward this insider trading stuff that he's been doing, and he's not even in office yet. So are we really going to let him get into office?
That's
Byron
right.
Donalds is one of the most corrupt stock traders in Congress, Anthony Sabatini says.
Yep.
He says he should be charged by the House Ethics Committee. And so this talks about Quiver Quantitative says just in, and this was on April the 9th, Representative Byron Donalds has filed new trades. He says he bought up to $30,000 of PayPal stock. Donalds sits on the House Financial Services Committee. Who do you vote for if you're not going to vote for him? I mean, who all's running down there?
Well, you have the lieutenant governor right now that is running for office. Jay Collins. I mean, you've got several out here that are running. So, but why would Trump put his money? This guy's got a war chest of like over $22 million right now because of Trump. And if you look at the man's criminal history, why would I want someone in there with a criminal history like this? Why would I want someone who's doing insider trading who's following Nancy Pelosi? Basically, is what he's doing. I mean, we've already proven everything that this guy stands for. He's the open borders, all these different things. It's like, this is what's frustrating with the president right now. He is known for not picking the right people. He's known for not getting behind the right people. Look at the people around him right now. So, I mean, again, so
Well, who is DeSantis pushing?
I don't think
His
he has
lieutenant governor?
officially endorsed anyone yet.
Okay. Okay. Was
Yet.
wondering about that. Okay. Loves Justice for All says we don't want Vivek in Ohio either. So that's, Vivek Ramaswamy says he wants to make Ohio data center Silicon Valley. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's the same thing with Byron Donalds. He keeps saying
Yep.
it's going to be the biggest economy in the world, that it's not going to just be in the United States, but in the world.
He wants the financial hub to be here.
Yeah.
He wants 5 to 7 million people, and they've already, and like 4 or 5 data centers, which the aquifer here in Florida cannot handle that much water for cooling that kind of stuff. And they're already saying that we could run out of water within a year and a half here in Florida.
All right. Well, we've covered a lot already, Mark. I want to go through a couple of viewer comments. So D Chirk 57 says, my son works in fertility. His clinic is overflowing with hopeful parents to be. It's so very sad. The vax has done a whole generation in. Well, between
That's right.
that and being,
That's right.
transphobe or whatever you call yourselves, that's a whole nother thing. Okay, so the next one is No Nonsense Netta says, Trump doesn't even know himself if he's going to heaven. So how can he be a spiritual anything for anyone else?
Remember, I've been saying that as a negotiator, you have to remain neutral, guys. And what he's doing to the hardcore right is that he is literally pulling them to the center. Because as a negotiator, you have to remain neutral. Bring everyone to the center so that you can make a deal. Everybody holds hands. And that's what he's doing spiritually. And that's not biblical. That's not why Jesus came.
Okay. So another viewer, Mamang23, I hope I said that right. It's so hard to defend the president to my family lately. I bet there's a number of people that are feeling that way. They just don't know what's going on.
Right.
KM Sunshine says, how can the average Joe run for office if they have to pay a hefty fee to run for office? And then on top of that, I just realized too, I've been hearing these people talking that are running for office. They've been sharing, these men have been sharing about how much they paid for Trump's endorsement. So is it that Byron Donalds got Trump's endorsement because Byron Donalds paid for it? Could it be that insane?
He's insider trading, I guess. So maybe so. I mean, according to Anthony Sabatini.
Yeah, but
maybe he's got the money to do it. I don't know.
But I've heard other guys come forward and say, I didn't get Trump's endorsement. The guy that did, that I was running against, it made no sense, but he had the money. And this guy that I was listening to, it wasn't but a couple of months ago, said that an endorsement from President Trump could be as much as $700,000, $850,000.
Wow.
So don't know, but it just hit me about that. I don't know. I live in Florida, and if I had to vote today, I'd vote for Jay Collins. That's what Prayer Warrior 777 says. So interesting. Red Bronze says, this will sound woo-woo, but could Trump have been MK Ultra? I don't know that it's MK Ultra. I do know that Donald Marshall talks about, the whole cloning. And I know what the Holy Spirit revealed to me about cloning during the whole slowing of the spread, saying that, look, back in, 1999, Mark, where they did the whole Dolly and so, and remember that, where Dolly was cloned and all. Okay, so if they showed us in 1999, obviously it was decades before that they had that technology. Ramaswamy is decidedly pro-life, endorsed by Ohio Right to Life. The other candidates that are being primaried are not. The problem that I have is that Ramaswamy is not a Christian.
The problem I have is, why is it every time a campaign comes around, or election comes around, we have to vote for the lesser of the 4 evils?
Yeah. Well, you can't make good people. Yeah, but you can't make good God-fearing believers run. And like KM Sunshine said, it made a good point. Well, how are you expecting the average Joe to be able to run, especially when you got somebody like Byron Donalds with how many millions already in the coffers, over 20 million? So, I mean, how do you even fight that? You've already lost. You can't even get off the bench and get in the game.
Let me say a couple of things. I believe what's going on with President Trump right now. I had a friend of mine send me this morning. He was texting me, and he's probably listening right now. Actually, I'm not going to say his name for security, but I believe the way he put this was absolutely spot on. He said about Trump, what he suspects about Trump. He says he's under great bewitchment right now. I think they have Jared, who's in close orbit. They're doing a Kabbalah wizardry on him, and he's just under a delusion right now. So when you look at Jared, I've never been a fan of Jared Kushner, number one. I didn't vote for him. Why is he over here doing negotiations? Why is he over here? He doesn't even hold an official title, does he? He's just part of Trump's family. And so he's over here doing high-powered level negotiations on a global scale here in Israel or with Iran. He was over there doing the Iran negotiations, trying to do this, that flunked. So Trump has got these people around him that have him mesmerized through a Jezebelic spirit or wizardry or high-level witchcraft, and it's influencing his decisions. That's the first thing. Now, his behavior is not the same since the first term. He is a totally different person. I'm noticing that, every time I see him, he's worn out, it looks like, on camera. He's tired. I saw something when he was at Mar-a-Lago here yesterday, somebody posted where he was having dinner with somebody, and he just walked in his golf attire, and he looked horrible, honestly. And I think a lot of this has to do with when you're running that many psyops or that many lies, per se, because psyops are lies. Let's just be honest. Let's be open. It's deception. It's lies. Having to keep track of all the lies and the deception will wear you out. You ever heard that saying? People get tired. You keep track of the lies. Yeah. So that's one. Number two is he's had the COVID vaccine, guys. He's had the boosters. I'm only going by what he says. Now, he said he's had the actual COVID vaccine and the boosters. We all know that will change your behavior. We know that it changes your common sense level. It changes your decision-making levels. It does all of these things. Am I saying that's what's causing it? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it could be a contributing factor on top of the witchcraft that's going on around him and the people he has chosen, that this is why we're seeing a different Trump right now. And so all of these things need to be taken into consideration. Now, I talked about a while back where God had said that he was handing Trump over to his own devices. And so when you look at this, what does this actually mean? It is a form of divine judgment where he removes his restraining grace and allows you to experience the natural and destructive consequences of your chosen sinful desires. In other words, your own decisions. I know that's what's going on with him right now because God's trying to drive him to his knees in repentance and bring him back around and do a course correction on him. Now, does that mean that he's been handed over to a reprobate mind? No, that does not. However, let me read what the reprobate mind means. Biblical term. A mind rejected by God due to willful, persistent rebellion, resulting in a dysfunctional moral conscience that cannot distinguish right from wrong. I don't believe he's there. I just don't. I believe that he has been handed to his own devices because that's what God told me, number one. So I do believe it. But number two, all the signs are there that he is that it is happening right now. Because again, you have to look at what that actually means. So again, I go back to it signifies divine judgment where he removes his restraining grace. God's grace has kind of come off of Trump a little bit because the Ukraine war didn't get over in 24 hours like he campaigned on. He's breaking his campaign promises. So all of these different things, and allows individuals to suffer the full natural consequences of their persistent rebellion. He has rebelled against the Lord and against a lot of things, or chosen sins. Now, because he at one point, I think years ago, before he was saved, he said, well, I don't believe I really have to repent because I didn't do anything wrong. But this is all spiritual in nature right now. And when you call this out, people don't want to hear it. I get nasty Truth Social things where people say, well, I stopped listening to you because, I just, you're hammering Trump. No, you stopped listening to me because you can't handle the truth. Christ is not in you because Christ is the spirit of truth. When Christ is in you, you want the truth of what God is actually saying. Even if that hurts the idol you have placed up on that pedestal right there called Trump. And this is where MAGA is going. People are going to have to repent for being in MAGA. If you're a true follower of Jesus Christ, you're going to have to repent and renounce even being into MAGA right now, because MAGA is not what it started out to be. Again, I go back to what did the revivals of the past start out as? They all got infiltrated and hijacked by Satan himself, and that's why they're not going on anymore. Same thing with the MAGA movement. It has been hijacked by Satan himself, It's not what it was originally created to be, a hardcore patriot right, because we're going to show something else over the LGBTQ here. I don't know if producer Ron's got that right now. But the point is, okay, look at this right here. The Trump admin agrees to keep flying a rainbow pride flag at the Stonewall National Monument after removing the banner in February. Guys, you cannot call yourself a man or woman of God and agree with this. The Trump administration, Trump himself has come out and endorsed LGBTQ. He supports it. Melania has come out and supported this. Now you've got the Trump admin who's agreeing with all of this. The next thing you know, these are going to be flying outside the White House. See, this is where Trump slowly, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Slowly, he's trying to bring the left together. He's trying to bring the right together and say, hey, guys, we can meet on common ground here. This is what we want right here. That is not Christ-like. I'm not saying hate LGBTQ. We don't hate the people. We hate the sin. Two totally different things. But you cannot be a part of MAGA, and then when you say these things that I'm saying, they want to call you low IQ, or you're not taking the 50,000-foot view, or he's the people of the president. Yeah, I understand he's the president of the people. I get that. But that doesn't mean you have to come out and publicly stoke the fires of LGBTQ like this. You don't do it. And so God's handing him over to his own devices right now until he repents.
Okay. All right, let's look at Ireland. Ireland rising up. It says Ireland is rising up and about to explode. The government, I've got stuff blocking that. I can't read
The government
it.
brings in tanks to stop anti-globalist protests. So the point to this is that Ireland's rising up and it's about to explode. America's not that far off with everything that we have going on. We have the Muslim invasion going on. We have, we're fixing to see here, some Indian invasion going on. We still have the CDL truckers on the road. We have all of these different things that are a hot spot right now, are a powder keg about to blow off right now.
Yeah. So, this is kind of reminding me, though, of what you've said before about, if things didn't progress and we didn't start seeing some improvement, that people would take to the streets. Doesn't mean that it would necessarily get violent, but it's just people will take to the streets.
Well, honestly, we probably need to take to the streets, to be honest with you. Not violence. We need to take to the streets and protest. Because, again, Trump's a numbers guy. If he doesn't physically see it with his own eyes, the numbers, he's not going to pay attention.
All right. Another thing, we've had Steve Jarvis on numerous times also. And Steve talks about, obviously, his background in agriculture. So take a look at this. This is very alarming.
This is a picture of what the winter wheat crop looks like in West Texas this year. So this field of wheat here, you had planned on taking it to harvest?
Yes, yeah, we'd planned on harvesting this.
And will you?
No, when we saw the plants this small with the flag leaf starting to come out, we knew that we didn't have enough plant structure there to be able to support a head that we can harvest.
And how long ago was that you realized that there's no hope for this?
Maybe a week, 10 days ago.
But for farmers in West Texas,
definitely not enough to make it, especially as dry as it is.
The reality of an extremely dry winter came to a head in the last few weeks, as some of these fields haven't seen measurable rainfall since last fall.
Well, we got a few tenths a couple of days ago. So you're looking at the rained on part.
Before that, how long had it been?
Oh, since November, September, something like that. Yeah, October, I guess it was.
An aerial view of wheat fields surrounding Plainview, Texas tells the story best. Sparse wheat with the majority of fields struggling to make it to harvest.
The problem is you can tell those are about 6 or 8 inches tall and the flag leaf's starting to come out. So it's trying to put a head out. All it's wanting to do is reproduce, and it won't be enough to ever harvest this. We'll kill it and plant something into it.
Do most wheat fields around here look like this year?
Yes, I'll bet you maybe 10% of the wheat, maybe 5% that was planted will actually ever be harvested.
Really?
Yeah, which is really kind of sad because it's one of the few crops you can keep some seed and it not be that big a deal. And of course, without the seed, we'll be buying seed. So.
With the majority of farmers abandoning their winter wheat in the Southern Plains this year, Olson's now focused on what to plant this spring, and hopeful rain will come at a critical time and help heal these soils this spring.
It would honestly take about 4 inches before we would have a 3-foot profile. and it's going to have to fall right to be able to do that, But it's crazy. You can watch the pivots run, and they'll just find a hole, and that water's just going down in that hole, and filling up. So I don't know. It looks bleak, but God's in control. He's on his throne, and when we know that at some point we'll get the rain, and it doesn't stay dry forever.
Quick question: where's Rainmaker? I thought they were going to help with making sure we got rain when we needed it.
I thought he was down in Texas too, wasn't he?
Yeah. This is Texas. This is West Texas. So I mean, why is it that this man has no crop?
I have no clue. Again, here we go again. We're fixing to have a food shortage. Right? Again, vaccines, 5G, 6G. He's protecting the glyphosate companies, and we're fixing the food. No rain in spots that we need it, and then we're getting rain in spots that we don't need it. It's flooding.
Yeah.
But hey, Trump's the healer, right? He's the doctor.
All right. I don't know what's going on. It's so crazy. All right. So I saw a story that I wanted to talk about. It really goes right in with what Mark and I usually discuss with Texas, especially. So this is happening in Frisco, Texas. So there's a gentleman who had a 6-figure job. He was working at T-Mobile. He quit his job to talk about and really kind of shine a light on what is going on. And he says corporations are ruining America from within. And a lot of it has to do with these H-1B, different
visas.
Kinds of ways that people can come in and these visas and stuff. So, okay. So we've got a few videos. We're going to kind of walk you through it. This also has to do with Tyler Oliveira. And so I may be murdering his name, but this guy is Mark Palascanio or something like that. So let's listen to him. He was back and getting to speak, I guess, at some kind of city council meeting. And so this is not the first time he's done it, but he has quite the testimony of what's been going on. Tyler came to town. And so we're going to show you a series of videos here. There's 4 of them in total, but we want to make sure you kind of get the gist of the story, and you'll hear it in the videos as well, but wanted to make sure these important details don't get lost. All right, so let's listen to the first one.
And now, as of late 2025, T-Mobile USA opened a global technology hub in Hyderabad, India that employs thousands of Indians while they're laying off Texans and Americans. They've even sent Americans to go train these Indians in India. T-Mobile USA could have easily opened up this technology hub in the United States of America, and they could have ran it out of one of the 2 Frisco offices on Warren Parkway. On top of that, T-Mobile spent $81.5 million on salaries for H-1B employees in the United States in 2025, all salaries that could have went to Americans. Is it a coincidence that T-Mobile has a new Indian CEO as of November last year? Probably not.
Okay, so the next one, producer Ron.
What's the projected future of Frisco?
If Frisco residents don't wake up, you could eventually have an entire Indian city council here, because they're going up and they're showing up to the voting polls and they're getting their people in.
And tell me about your experience working with T-Mobile.
I started off as a sales associate in the store. I worked there 17 years. I worked my way up to a career that paid me $200,000 a year. I was really living the American dream. And then I wanted to leave T-Mobile to expose how corporations are destroying America from within and launch my own independent journalism. When I left T-Mobile, I was offered a $150,000 severance that I turned down to keep my free speech so I could talk about T-Mobile. And over the past 2 years, I've documented a pretty crazy whistleblower story.
What did T-Mobile do?
When I started exposing T-Mobile, I was censored on every platform that I use. So T-Mobile now has really taken away my ability to be an independent journalist in America and make money through with their censorship and shadow banning. I've exposed a lot with T-Mobile, how they discriminate against Christians using diversity, equity, inclusion, how they provide unlimited money for transgender surgeries while they limit benefits for in vitro. I fought them on their vaccine mandate here in Texas. They locked me out of the office for 10 months and discriminated against me. They coerced and bullied Americans into getting vaccinated. I heard from one of my friends the other day, he had a stroke and he feels like it was because he was bullied into being vaccinated all by T-Mobile. And let's be real, we're living in the United States of corporations these days, and if you're a whistleblower exposing a Fortune 100 company, they can shut you down online. I've documented all of my censorship on my Substack website. You can see, I was watching Google delete me, man. Like I would search me, my pictures would stop showing up, I stopped showing up. It's gotten a little scary for me, and so I appreciate independent journalists like you that are out here willing to get a real story.
Yeah. Oh, I see where Peggy Sue 28 says real truthers always get blocked. We were just talking about that right before the show, and we were like listening to this guy's story, and I was like, "Hey, what's up with me? You know, I'm like, I can't believe I can't watch a TikTok video. I'm banned off of TikTok. You never got your X account back. You never got your YouTube account back. Like these people. And by the way, my X account, I get notifications all the time that I've got new followers, but yet I'm still at the same exact number for months. It's been almost, I don't know. It's been since Charlie Kirk passed away. It was
I've been stuck at the same number on Truth Social for over a year and a half.
Yeah.
And I don't even, matter of fact, I'm not even getting any new followers. It usually shows you when you get new followers. I get maybe one a month.
Yeah, I'm getting some, but the number never ticks up. It's just such a craziness. And then of course on other platforms, a lot of times we see that they just keep ticking down, which doesn't make sense. And so it's crazy.
They're taking away followers from me on Telegram, like 100 followers a week. So, you know.
But I thought we were supposed to have free speech under President Trump. He's been in office. He said we were going to have it. I think these places don't listen to a thing he says, quite frankly.
No, and so, you know, go ahead. I know we got one more to show, one more video on T-Mobile.
We got two more. Yeah,
okay,
we got Mark number 3. So let's listen to what he says here.
I came here on H-1B 2004. Everybody was Americans. But the fast forward, now you don't see any Americans.
This is Frisco, Texas, a once quiet farm town turned home to one of the largest and fastest growing Indian communities in America. As the Indian population exploded from less than 2% to almost 20% Indian in the last 20 years, many Texans are outraged, declaring there has been an Indian invasion. I pulled up to the Frisco Town Hall meeting to witness the clash of heritage Texans and their new Indian neighbors. Where are you from?
Hyderabad.
I'm from India.
From India.
Where in India? Hyderabad? Why do you think Frisco became such a big hub for Indians?
They have their own community here.
Okay.
No, it's not like that.
Not like that here in Frisco?
No.
Motherland India or Texas, USA?
Oh, obviously, Motherland India.
Obviously, Motherland India.
Hyderabad, of course.
Really? Did you come here on H-1B?
Yeah. I'm on H-1B.
H-1B?
Yeah.
You're H-1B?
Yeah.
Working here at 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
We need more or less H-1B people here?
We need a lot less. I have 2 master's degrees. I was making over $100,000 a year. They said, you're too expensive. We're going to hire Indians.
If residents don't wake up, you could eventually have an entire Indian city council here because they're showing up to the voting polls and they're getting their people in.
If we give this up, we're doomed. The devil would say, well, you're racist. That's racist. According to the devil's dictionary definition of the term, I am racist.
I came here on H-1B.
When did you come?
2004. I was only one Indian in entire my team. Everybody was Americans. But the fast forward, now if you go to my work any other places, you don't see any Americans.
I got laid off 20 years ago. I worked in IT. I have 2 master's degrees.
And how much do you think they pay the H-1B replacement?
Well, at the time, 20 years ago, they paid him probably half what I make. I haven't been able to find a job in IT since, and it's really sad.
My name is Shri. My name is Inba. My name is Ardav. My name is Siddharth. Hi, my name is JT.
This is insurrection. This is the overthrow of the United States government.
Why are people with multiple H-1B companies registered to one address donating to Frisco's first Indian mayor?
If these were truly high-skilled Germans or Poles, we'd welcome the net positive.
I urge the council to reject such a rhetoric that divides residents based on where they came from.
Every person in this room right now, their ancestors have come from a different country, a different continent.
It seems like there's a lot of Indian people that are opening up their own companies and they have H-1B. So like, are they using that to bring people over? Are they possibly running laptop farms out of their houses and having employees from India do work? I mean, there's so many different questions.
H-1Bs are the scapegoats. The employers, those are the people who have to investigate it.
If we turn away from God and the Word of God, if we worship these Indians, these Somalis, if we just give everything to them, willing to cut your own throat, we'll die. So what do I think about H-1B or whatever? I don't want to go to hell. I do not want to go to hell.
Okay. There's one more. You wanted to go on ahead and she's got a different perspective. Let's hear it.
everybody and their mother wanted to go to the United States. I saw the cracks, and I warned people. When I served in India, what I saw in terms of industrialized fraud, there is a huge back industry where you have storefronts after storefronts focused on basically creating fraudulent documents, fake transcripts, fake bank statements, fake degree certificates to use the visa loophole to cut the line and actually emigrate to the US. And the H-1B visa is a guest worker visa. It's a temporary status visa. But these are not exemplary individuals. These are run-of-the-mill people. They get sashayed into the OPT program, and then they get preferential treatment by the Silicon Valley managers. We were just like so overwhelmed that there was this pressure to issue. We don't have that luxury of time. But there were politicians, whether from South India arena or from Delhi itself, saying you need to issue visas. Even if that individual is not qualified, we had this ludicrous pressure to say, if that person is not a terrorist, go ahead and issue.
Out of all the 50,000 plus visa applications, how many of those were legitimate?
Easily between 70 to 80%. That was my denial rate. Everyone's benefiting in this whole system, right? There's kickbacks that everyone gets. The H-1B manager, they would prefer their own Indian people because it's not about, because the Indians are the best and the brightest. Bribery is quite normalized. I saw a lot of H-1Bs as well as J-1s who have bought their seats into medical school. That sort of stuff does not jive with our values.
Are these H-1B visa holders superior to Americans in every way imaginable?
Absolutely not in screaming letters, NOT.
Okay, so Mark, I wanted to also point out, so Chris PM says T-Mobile just put fiber 6 internet under the ground in our neighborhoods. Now we're having to do more EMF protection in our homes. Yep. I would think that would impact grounding. We say go outside and ground. Yes, it's going to impact everything. This is insanity.
Yeah. This is what I've been talking about with Trump. And this is why when people, again, look at the Indian thing going on here right now. It's so different than the Muslim thing, the invasion that we have going on. Why is he not stopping it? Why are we freeing all these other countries all over the globe, but America is suffering at the hands of this right now? But this is not what I voted for. I understand we having to take control of Venezuela and Iran. I don't have a problem with some of this stuff. The problem I have is not taking care of what's going on American soil right now. He says he's the doctor. He's bringing healing. This is not healing, Michelle.
No.
This is not healing. Not. Look, and the other thing, too, is, well, go ahead. If you got something to say on T-Mobile, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to change the subject yet. I want to say Deborah Gooden on YouTube says, we moved from West Texas 3.5 years ago. That area grows a lot of cotton also. They've been suffering since before then and before they left 3.5 years ago. And so you're talking about the guy with the wheat crop. This is very interesting. And look, okay, so, JRT 1776 has just popped up and says this is deep state Trump is just one man. I don't know what's going on, but like you said, he was the father of the shot. He, is all of this stuff is happening under him. Just under recently him. on MichelleMooreShow.com, we have a link tree. And on there, you'll be able, if you're watching and you haven't checked out Michelle Moore Show, 3 words, not it's MichelleMooreShow.com. If you'll go there, you'll see even there's a website where you can see all the data centers that are popping up. It's a data center finder. And I'm shocked, Mark, at how many data centers are already in the United States.
Yeah. Yeah. And listen, if they roll out these robots like we talked about on the last show, like they rolled out the vaccines, we're in trouble.
Yeah.
And we showed that video of the robot holding the gun. He didn't miss. So, I mean, again, it's like they're pushing stuff before it's time. And it's like before it's ready to roll out. So let me know when you're ready to
no, you're good.
Else. Okay.
No.
All right. So, Trump claims he wants to bring, he's the healer or he wants to bring healing. You cannot claim healing when this is the sickest country on the planet right now. Our food, our water, our air, you name it. And so you have the Muslim invasion. You got all these things going on right now. The vaccines, this, that, and the other. And he came out with a statement the other day. Somebody brought it up in the comments, and I thank you for that. I want to talk about this for a minute. I don't have the statement in front of me. But he was attacking his own base, literally. And I know some of it was geared towards some other people, But in that, and a way you could take that is he was attacking his own base. It's like, how do you bring healing when you're attacking your own base? You talked about people with a low IQ, which is always common theme with him. You know what I mean? And you talk about someone that had no college. He said, and you talked about he didn't have a college degree. And I cannot remember what he said, but it was like he was attacking his own base. And so when you look at this, when you look at how they're moving LGBTQ, they're not getting rid of the Muslims, they're not getting rid of the illegals, they're not doing all of these different things. I pray he turns and goes the other direction and does this, what we voted him in to do. But you can't sit there and attack people and call them low IQ because they don't agree with you. And that's what he's doing. It's like, and he's taught the MAGA community to do the exact same thing. Just because I question something or you question something that Trump does and we don't like what he's doing, like the LGBTQ, you're not MAGA and you're low IQ. That, folks, is the definition of a cult. The same spell that Trump is under, you are under for doing the same thing he's doing. It's the same spell. When you're calling people low IQ because they disagree with the president and they call it out, it's because, number one, they got more guts. They're not under the same spell you're under, and they got more guts than you have. And they're operating in the spirit of truth. Because isn't that our constitutional right to be able to question something? Or maybe to offer our opinion because we don't agree with it? So, again, it's the same spell that's on Trump is on some of these MAGA people because they're following the same exact example that he is setting by saying, okay, if you don't agree with me, you're low IQ, or you're a fool because you didn't go to college, or this, that, and the other. You can't do it.
Well, what happened to the President Trump, that we heard before where, he was pushing the blue collar jobs. I mean, I know people that are working blue collar jobs, so-called blue collar jobs, making $135,000 a year. And so they are making very good money. Hey, I've always said, wait till you're knee deep in the winter and it's 20 degrees outside and your air conditioner won't work. Let's see what you think about your AC guy, your HVAC guy all of a sudden, and so you'll have a newfound appreciation.
Go without power for a week around here and you'll appreciate the power guys, especially during a hurricane when it's 100 degrees and 100% humidity.
That's right. Okay, so we had a couple of videos also we wanted to share with you today. We also talked earlier, the Mondami thing in New York. Let's see what this has been making its rounds quite a bit. So, we've got the 250th celebration coming up, and Mondami has weighed in about what they are or aren't going to be doing in New York. Let's watch this clip and see.
Here in Times Square, a ball drop is planned to celebrate America's 250th birthday. But thanks to Mayor Mamdani's emergency order denying permits during the World Cup, the public isn't invited to attend.
Say what? So our famous communist won't allow people to come up and see and celebrate 250th years for the U.S.? He needs to go.
Is this America? Is this really New York? Where we at?
I think that's really sad.
Yeah, I think that's very silly.
Oh. You'd imagine it should be allowed.
It's something we're celebrating, right? So it's supposed to be open for people to come in.
New Year's Eve, everybody's out here allowed to be here, so why can't it be then?
We have to, live our lives. Can't be afraid.
I should probably articulate that I'm a Canadian. That would never happen in Canada. The public should be allowed to go.
I think that should be something that everybody should be included on. I mean, that's a big milestone in our nation's history. Kind of frustrating because I was kind of excited to come down here for that. But, I'm not buying a ticket.
It's ridiculous. Absurd. Get out of here.
Well, I mean, look, and then the other thing, too, is people are going to say, because, again, people go by what they see in the natural. What am I seeing in the natural? What is there to celebrate right now at this point? Why would I even vote in the midterms? Well, we have to vote, guys. Please don't go down that road and say just because you're angry, hurt, or feel betrayed by the president doesn't mean don't vote. We can't hand this stuff over to the Democrats, which is what's fixing to happen if we're not careful. Because, again, that election they had in Texas, the most conservative county, went Democrat because people were angry, hurt, or betrayed by the president, they felt like, and they didn't show up to vote. That's no excuse not to vote. We have to vote. Go ahead, Michelle.
Look, from what we've been showing, especially today, okay, maybe some people missed it, but in that 4-part video series that we ran just a few minutes ago about Texas and the Indian and the H-1B visas and all that stuff.
Yep.
Listen, what was it that was said? And I think it was in video number 1 or 2. I think it was video number 2. They were talking about these people are getting into the school boards. They're getting into all different kinds of meetings, and they're taking over. They're getting the majority. We covered this on something else a week or 2 ago. And listen, what did they say? There was a line in there that even talked about how they're donating to I think it was the mayor that has taken office, who is from India. And so these people are now, they're getting together, and they're clinging together, and they're getting their footing. And so we need to remember this, because it's just like Aqua Girl said, the Muslim Brotherhood plan to infiltrate was written in 1991, and it's in full swing since Obama. That's right. And so we have got to, not voting is not a choice. You have got to vote. This isn't a Republican Democrat thing. At some point, this is going to start being not just evil versus good, which is where we're really at and have been. It's forget Republican versus Democrat. I don't understand why people are even still saying that. But what it really is getting ready to be is American versus letting somebody else take over, because it's going to start in one little, I remember you saying last week too, Mark, you said something about there is an effort to attack the conservative states. And that really stuck with me, because I'm seeing it, and I'm seeing it. We're seeing it in Texas. We're seeing it in Florida. Like, they're continuing to try to attack some of these states that we know full good. I think Tennessee, I mean, it's just a complete craziness that's going on here. And so before slowing the spread versus after, completely two different things going on in the Nashville, Tennessee area. And so look, but you know, I like what Kazadu was saying. The voting process has not been fixed anywhere. So how can we know that our votes really count? And that's an excellent point. And the fact of the matter is, just like what I said the other day, Steve Jarvis and I were talking on the phone, I guess it was about 2 weeks ago. And Mark, he said, we have proof that our vote has never mattered. He says, because how do we have all these presidents, all of them but one, we're not sure about Trump, but another one, are all related. They're all related. So there's our proof that it's never mattered. And if it did matter, they wouldn't let us vote, is what I would say. Now, he didn't say that part. I'm saying that. And so, anyways, but it's very concerning. But here's the deal. You can't just sit home and wring your hands and hope somebody just comes along.
No.
You know, God doesn't call us to that. God, you know, you got to, what is it? Faith is dead without works.
Right.
And so part of the working is what we're doing right now. Part of the working is showing up at the polls. You've got to vote. We hopefully will outdo whatever cheating they do. But the fact of the matter is, at this point, I believe in many areas of the country, this is about American versus being overthrown.
Right. So when you look at all these things that we've been on the shows, people, I'm going to get some nasty emails. I get it every show. I get nasty emails or nasty comments in the comment section of my True Social or whatever.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So, you know, you've turned on Trump, this, that, and the other. No, this show is full of facts. These are prayer points. If you look at this, these are not attacks, they're prayer points. If they were attacks, guys, we'd be saying, forget Trump. Don't even waste your time with him. I wouldn't be on here. No, it's because we love the president. We want the president to succeed, because if he succeeds, America succeeds. But there are certain spiritual things that have to be followed according to God's biblical word that he's not doing. And he has surrounded himself with a bunch of wizards, witches, and warlocks that have his ear, that are influencing his decisions, which I believe, again, the vaccines, he's taking the vaccine. We're not seeing the same mentality that we saw on the first one. He's not supporting people. He's attacking his own base. He's not supporting the blue-collar workers. All of these different things begin to add up. And when you rob people of hope, you rob them of the will to fight, which is kind of what this plan I don't agree with is doing, because it's dragging out so long. It's robbing people of hope. So now they're not wanting to fight. They're not wanting to show up at the polls. We have to show up at the polls. We don't have a choice. But when you look at what Trump is doing, he's giving the perception that he's actually against the American patriot, because he's putting people like Byron Donalds and Lindsey Graham and Ayatollah Abbott back in office. It's like, why? Why are we doing this? We don't have to agree with this. You can call us low IQ. I don't care. If it's part of the plan, don't care about that either. You're not the one having to live here and make a living on a pension or if you're a senior, or if your husband or wife still works, whatever the case is, you've got your billions of dollars, you've got your protection. This is where he's out of touch with his own base. This is why I keep saying he's out of touch. He is completely out of touch with his own base and what his base wants. He sits there and says, well, eggs have come down. They're the lowest they've ever been. You're not the one going in the store buying them. No, they're not. How many times have we heard this? Gas is coming down. No, it's not. You know what I mean? All of these things he says out here on camera, but in reality, it's the total opposite. And I think a lot of this is the people he has around him are purposely doing this to make him look bad. And it's working with his own base because his base is turning on him. I've been warning about this. He thinks the 100% CNN poll, you know what I mean? If I go back to that again, he thinks he's 100% with his base. No, you're not, brother. You are the lowest you have ever been with your base. And somebody needs to tell him that and show him that.
Aqua Girl, she nailed it. I've been on pins and needles and I'm waiting for exactly what she's talking about. So what about next month's dedication of America to God? Is it Jesus? I'm waiting.
That's what I've been warning about. Have I not? It says,
yes,
he said that I've been warning about this very thing. Keep an eye. Yes. If he allows the Muslims to go up there and pray, if he allows the Indians to go up there and pray, forget it.
But this is the same. This is the same people though that we're talking about that are now putting the gay flag back up.
Right. So this is the same man who worshipped a foreign god in the Oval Office. He lit a candle to a foreign god. That is a form of worship, guys. So this is not good. Again, we have to pray and we've got to seek God for his help in order to look. It's going to take a Damascus Road experience. God's going to have to knock him on his can and bring him around to a Damascus Road experience. I hate to say that. That's what's going to look like. It's looking more and more what it's going to have to take.
All right. So do you go to a 501c3 church? You know that if you watch the Michelle Moore show and you've been seeing Lieutenant Mark Taylor on Mondays for the last year and a half with me, you know what we think about that situation. But listen to this girl's situation and what happened to her. So,
all right.
Whew.
I left the church because they asked each new member for their W-2 so that they can verify the 10% that you were giving was correct. Can you imagine going to a church for the first time and during service they end up saying, raise your hand if it is your first time here, and then they come around and they give you a little coffee mug and some candy. Please tell me this was not just my church. And then they say, meet us in the back at the end if you would like to join our church. So you go back there and then they ask you for your W-2. That's crazy. Now, growing up in the church, I did know that you were supposed to tithe 10%, but I can't say that I ever did. But mostly because my churches were not that intense about it. Like, yes, they would tell you that you should tithe, but they were not tracking people down. But apparently a lot of churches do that. And a lot of you have told me that your pastors would specifically come up to you and say, hey, it's been a while, you haven't been tithing. And I just feel like that is really intense. I also feel like one of the reasons I didn't feel the need to do that was because I went to a lot of mega churches where these pastors are driving the most expensive sports cars and like going on private jets and all of that. And I was like, I think we're good. I don't think you need my W-2.
Yeah, I have a friend, a very close friend. We went to church together, and our pastor got into a multi-level marketing thing. I was not invited to any of it. I didn't know anything about it, but through someone else. But come to find out, my close friend had been invited, and they wanted to talk about her tithe. Her tithing was down. Now, she was a real estate agent, and so her tithing was down because her money was down. 10% was less. Mark, he's like, well, I've got to pick 12 people, but we have to have a conversation about your tithing first. I kid you not. And so when I saw this video, it reminded me of that story. And I was shocked to hear that, oh yes, he wanted to talk about her tithing. And I'm going, holy moly, you could have knocked me over with a feather. So I don't even know why the pastor would even see individual tithing and who makes what and who's given what or whatever. And certainly not see a W-2 form. So anyways, okay. I just when you think you've heard it all, right?
Well, it's like the guy we showed on here that had the Bentley on stage.
Yeah.
You know, somebody yells out in the crowd, can I drive it? No, you can't drive it in Jesus' name. He wouldn't want that.
Don't want your filthy paws on it. You
That's
pay
right.
for it, but you can't drive it. That's what
That's
he should have
right.
said, because that's what he
Yeah.
meant.
Okay. The gas prices.
Okay, so let's look at Ryan Tieford. So he's the gentleman that is the ex-nephew to Paula White. He's going to be here on the Michelle Moore Show tomorrow. He's been making a big splash over the last week. He started doing a couple of videos and posts on Facebook. I'm not sure if he's on any other social media platforms. We can ask him tomorrow, but let's take a listen to one of his videos so that way you can be familiar with him and know that he'll be here tomorrow doing his first interview. Let's see.
I say as a Christian, it should be mandated to go to Israel before you get to heaven.
Lately, Paula White has become the talk of the town. Before she was ever standing next to Donald Trump or Erica Kirk or sitting across the table from Benjamin Netanyahu, she was standing on Benny Hinn's stage, shoulder to shoulder, married to my uncle, Randy White.
I'm imparting a fresh revelation to you, a fresh fire to you from my servant. Receive it. Let it be implanted and deposited in your soul. Let it bring about a harvest. Let it bring about great fruit. Fire!
And I believe God's allowing this story to resurface because right now this woman is considered to be the faith office leader, which means she is the face of Christianity in America across the globe. Boom, just like that, a fresh fire from Benny Hinn and my uncle and ex-aunt were on their way to Tampa, Florida to establish one of the largest, fastest growing ministries in the nation at that time. But unfortunately, this picture was taken not too many years later when my uncle would announce to the congregation that Randy and Paula were divorcing. Rather hear it from me. What did my uncle have to say? This is the day that I told the church we were getting a divorce. Paula asked me to take full responsibility because she has the stronger voice on television and would make sure I would be compensated. After that, he goes on a longer rant, and I'll move out the way if you want to pause and read it. This woman has done nothing but lie, deceive, and manipulate and steal to get her way to the top. Don't believe me? Go ask Reva Timms what happened to her church. I don't care about the money. I don't care about the follows. I care about all the people that have been hurt in the way, deceived, and ran over. Paula White cares about one thing and one thing only.
There's only 3 envelopes. I'm not moving. I'm not going to lay hands on people. So you're obedient. Get out of your seat. Come on. And come bring up a seed. I'm doing it to break something. You need a breakthrough. You need things. You bring it $10. But you get something down here and say, I'm not going to leave until I put a seed and a sacrifice on this altar.
Unbelievable. This is who has the president's ear. Do we have that still shot, producer Ron? Thank you. I want to draw the attention right up here where it says, I am going to tell you the whole truth. Now, this is Randy White back in November 5th, 2025.
Paula White's second husband. She's married right now to her third husband.
Yep, and he's showing this now on the air. He's saying, I'm going to tell you the whole truth because Paula White is a toxic person, and just look at her track record. I personally know of 7 affairs and could give you names of how she broke up their families. Gee, we have the Epstein list. How about the Kane White list?
Yeah. So there's a
Wouldn't that be something?
Yes.
And I have been warning about this lady, that there's things about this lady that nobody knows that these people are into. It's not just her. It's the entire group of these pastors across the board of what they're into, guys. I'm just telling you, there's going to be a lot of hurt when people figure out who these people are. Because, again, I got people all the time emailing me or saying, hey, what about this guy? What about that guy? And you guys are going to get hurt if you're following these people and you're giving your money to them. I'm just telling you.
Well, and I have always said, if you have to ask about somebody, if that doubt is there,
right,
there's probably a reason for it. So just saying, he'll be here tomorrow, and I have to tell you, I'm still processing some of the stuff that he told me this morning, to be quite honest. So it'll be quite interesting tomorrow. I'm sure of it. All right, Mark, I wanted to ask you for closing thoughts.
Don't we have the top 10 list?
I didn't know if you wanted to play it. We can
sure. Let's play it. Let's play it.
All right.
Why not?
There's somebody has put together a top 10 list of Paula White. So here we go.
When I walk on White House grounds, God walks on White House grounds. When I go into the dry cleaner, that dry cleaning place becomes holy.
Of our president.
We pray for your continued blessing and favor to rest upon him.
I hear a sound of victory. I hear a sound of an abundance of rain. I hear a sound of victory. It's almost, I say as a Christian, it should be mandated to go to Israel before you get to heaven. I'm so with you. You're not doing this to get something, but you're doing it in honor to God, realizing what you can receive.
For your special Passover offering of $1,000 or more as the Holy Spirit leads, you will also receive the beautiful 10-inch Waterford Crystal Cross.
I want $100,000 to come in. If you say I don't have it, give $100. Bring up a sacrificial seed. This is a deliverance seed that needs to be sown now, to be in position, to see increase, to activate God's promises. And if you're able, I challenge you to sow $133 now. Now! Now! In the name of Jesus! And fire! So honored to be sitting up here with, I believe, God's chosen for everyone. Hey!
Okay.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I work the streets. I've seen 20-year-old hookers dress more conservative than this 60-year-old woman does. I'm sorry. And this is who has the president's ear now. Okay. I want people to understand that. And you're fixing to learn a whole lot more from this young man tomorrow. And I pray you guys tune in to what he's going to say, because I'm sure he's got a whole lot more to say than I have to.
Okay. I was looking. So I can't find it. I probably deleted it yesterday. Oh, I know where to get it. I want to tell everybody, I don't know if you know about this, Mark, but there is a new docu-series that came out. It apparently came out last week on Netflix. I found out about it, sat down and watched the whole thing. And so I just couldn't stop watching. And so, I watched it yesterday. When I found out about it, I pulled it right up. So here it is. Trust Me is what it's called. Trust Me, The False Prophet. And it's on Netflix. And so it's a Netflix documentary series. And again, it's called Trust Me, The False Prophet. I'm going to show what it looks like here. So that's how you know when you go onto Netflix, how to tell. That's going to be what you're going to see when you log in, and that's how you're going to know that that's the right one. Okay. And so I think it's like 6 or 7 episodes. It really was a pretty quick watch, but it is gripping, and you have to watch it. It has to do with the Mormon church and what all happened. It's just, wow, just how people can get brainwashed and so knee deep in it. And it's just, you just sit there and just shake your head at some of the crazy that was going on. So anyways, but I highly recommend it and wanted to make sure that people knew about it. Mark, before we let you go, closing thoughts.
Just pray for the president. As always, guys, these are all prayer points we've been showing you. These are facts we have been showing you. When you look at the evil that is his spiritual advisor, you will understand why he's under a demonic influence of this and why he doesn't get rid of her. This is exactly why. It's the wizardry. It's the witchcraft. It's the witches, the coven that he has around him that is influencing this man. And on top of that, with the vaccines, I just pray for him is all I know. I just pray for deliverance for the man. I pray that God would set him free from these people, that he would get rid of these people, no matter what. Just get rid of them. And just, look, I don't care if he has to start over. Just start over. Who cares? I mean, we've already gotten rid of a couple of people. He needs to just keep going with it. So yeah, pray for him.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Mark. Thank you for being here. Thank you. Every week I always see where somebody says Mark should be on the Faith Advisory Committee, but or his team, and be near to be able to speak into President Trump's ear. But the problem is, like what Mark said before, that'll never happen as long as these people are around the president. And so I was going to say too, I saw where somebody was sharing their testimony or their own experience of when they were going to church and different things. Oh yeah, over 30 years of tithing plus in a Mormon cult that called fire insurance won't be burned. Okay, that wasn't the one. Okay, I'm not seeing it. And so it was a shocking story. Oh yeah, here it is. Linda Walton on YouTube says, I went to a church that the pastor told the whole church from the pulpit that me and my former husband didn't pay our tithes. She says, I didn't even have an income myself, but can you imagine? Doesn't matter. Like, that's not something to be talked about from the pulpit. Can you imagine? That's insane. Okay. East Coast Deb says the pastor's wife came to my job looking for my tithe. This is crazy. Cooper Smith 222 says gas, $4.59 in the suburbs of Chicago. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Anna, California says, Mark, you need to be on his spiritual advisory board. And so I had been asked to be an advisor to the advisory board. And as you can tell, probably that just is no longer so for me. So, and it's been a long time. I really saw just absolute crazy too this time last year. It's been a little bit over a year ago when she was saying in order to, get your blessing and to be blessed, you needed to give $1,000. Yes, that's what she said. And so it was right before Easter of last year. And so that was just another one that was just like, oh my goodness, she's undeniably crazy. Okay, so we will have Ryan Tieford here tomorrow. He's the nephew that we've been talking about. He's the ex-nephew is what I call him of Paula White, and we'll hear what he has to say and share with us tomorrow. It was a very interesting gentleman to speak to this morning. Spoke with him for an hour, and wow. Okay, like I said, I'm still processing it, and I'll see you right here next time on the Michelle Moore Show.
Hi, I'm Linda Bamber Olson, the inventor of the Wave Watch, the world's first frequency therapy watch. It features over 1,100 targeted frequencies combined into 150 playlists for ease of use. These sounds are acoustical and they move through your body, through your skin and your bones. You don't necessarily have to hear it. As each frequency goes through, it can be realigning, revitalizing, reconnecting, and even rebalancing your body all the way to the cellular level. So that's why we have so many testimonies for aches, ADD and ADHD, allergies, colds and flu, dental, emotions, headaches, joints, kidney stones, nerves, organs, skin health, swelling, tremors, vagus nerve, and so many more. Use this code for $100 off when you purchase the Wave Watch. Thanks for learning about frequencies, using them, and supporting the Wave Watch.
There aren't a lot of reasons to use Godly Granny products. There's every reason, because every time you twist or flip a cap on something from Godly Granny, you're voting no to chemicals and yes to common sense, but without all the electronic voting machines. With Godly Granny, there's no toxins, no chemicals, no endocrine disruptors, no cancer-chasing filler. Godly Granny is a small batch, made-to-order, deeply naturopathic wellness brand. Founded on biblical truth, formulated with pure purpose, and handcrafted by saved folks who know that freedom doesn't come from fake lavender and phthalates. Go to godlygranny.com today. Be sure and use the discount code Michelle10 at checkout to receive 10% off your entire order.
Hi friends, it's Michelle Moore. And when it comes to protecting your retirement, I believe in taking smart, steady steps. Bank of America analysts call gold the ultimate safe haven. And when it comes to precious metals, I trust Universal Coin and Bullion, the official rare coin and bullion dealer of my show. They have been named the best in their industry both nationally and regionally by leading organizations. Consider a gold IRA, a time-tested way to diversify your portfolio with real tangible assets, which lets you move a portion of your retirement savings into physical gold, helping protect your wealth from inflation, market swings, and economic uncertainty. And Universal Coin and Bullion makes the process easy. From rollovers to delivery, they walk you through every step, even if you have one with another gold company. Protect what you've worked so hard to build from the team that I trust, Universal Coin and Bullion, at 800-321-8700, and make sure to tell them Michelle sent you.
For Michelle's social media links, go to MichelleMooreShow.com.